Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Funded Trader YouTube channel. My name is Dennis, and today we have another Funded Trader interview. And today we have Johnny. Introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Johnny Reyes, and I'm a funded trader with the Funded Trader program, and I have a 50K account so far.
Awesome. So, where do you call home?
California from the West Coast, Los
Uh,
Angeles specifically.
yeah, I'm just a little bit more south than you, so we love our
Oh, cool.
California beaches, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and what is your educational background?
Educational background, I'm just high school, so I guess you could say, but I went to a more of a career school. I'm a barber, so I graduated from a barber college. I'm not sure that's the same thing as a different college, but yeah.
I mean, that's still respectable, you know. My brother's a barber. I'm gonna go get a cut after, so gotta look fresh. I know what it's
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
So you do that for a living or?
Yeah, yeah. I've actually been a barber for about 8 years now. That's really the only job I ever have. I never actually got like a physical paycheck from a different company or anything like that, but it worked out pretty well.
So how did you start out in Forex?
Um, so I want to say about a year ago, I guess when everyone got interested in the or more than a year ago now, like right after that Dogecoin hype, I got involved with crypto. And after that, I started getting into more stuff, more learning, more YouTube university, I guess you can call it. And I have a buddy of mine, my business partner, because I also have a second business is a cold press juicery. And my partner on that, he trades options
Oh
on a
wow.
regular basis. Yeah. And he tried to get that like over me, but I didn't really like it. It had
Yeah,
too many rules.
it's a little bit different for
Yeah,
sure.
it's a bit different for sure. Yeah, man. Different rules. And then being a barber, one of my clients, he trades Forex. A very good friend of mine, Javier. Shout out Javier. And he uh he kind of showed me what he was doing, saw a little bit of his profits, and I was like, oh, what is this? And he kind of mentored me. And with him, he's the one that got me interested into Forex. And I've only been doing Forex for I want to say about 6 months now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have a community outside of the funded trader, like mentors, mentorships,
Uh,
anything like that?
Yeah, so as far as like community goes, I wouldn't say a community. I do like the funded trader community goal. The Discord you guys have is very helpful, everyone's pretty hands-on on there, so that's pretty tight. I do like that, but besides like that, I just have my mentor kind of helps me out along the way. Before him, I actually didn't know anything about Forex. Didn't even know how to use MetaTrader. Literally 6 months ago, I did not know how to use MetaTrader or TradingView. And now it's become a regular thing for me.
Yeah, so what motivated you to become a funded trader?
Honestly, it was my friend, seeing how he was doing, and it was working out well for him. And then he also kind of introduced me into prop firms. Obviously, the first one he told me about was FTMO. And when I seen what people can do and the balances that they can trade with, that's when I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely what I want to do.
Yeah, so trading with your own money, everyone maybe starts out like that. You take a few losses and you lose a few accounts. I mean, that is a part of the journey, but I feel like trading with a prop firm, it just opens up so much more opportunity. You can make so much more money just by passing a test and proving that you're a worthy trader.
Right.
So is there anything that you will feel like you wanted to do differently in your Forex journey?
Um, Not necessarily. Everyone has to put in the work, go through the hard times, go through the struggles. I'm still kind of, trying to get better at it. I will say I probably wouldn't have started off with a live account. So I started with a live account, really small, $100, and it's not you can't live off 100, couple hundred, even a few thousand. Let's say you have a $10,000 account, 10% of it is $1,000. Kind of hard to live off $1,000 a month. So for people who are already starting off out there, I would say, start a demo, treat it like if it's a real account. practice with that, and after you've done that a few times, then maybe start with live accounts so you can get the feeling of trading with live money, you know. But then after, besides that, I think that's probably the only thing I would have done, because when I started with the live, I blew a live account, didn't like it, and then after that, I just decided to go to the demo. And after I passed a few demo challenge, well, not passed a few demos, but after I did well on a few demos, I took an FTMO like practice challenge, and I passed that one. And after I passed that one, I decided to try the real thing with the funded trader.
Awesome. So how many accounts have you blown so far, do you think?
For real live accounts, I would say besides the I guess they're demos. I wouldn't really just, but I want to say two. Because like I said, after I realized that trading with a live account wasn't or trading with a small account wasn't like my best interest. I just went ahead and switched over to a demo until I felt like I was mentally ready.
Yeah, because that's so important, Everyone
Yeah.
wants to trade all this money but when those numbers start hitting and those profits, or even when the negatives start rolling in, when you see the sea of red, ooh,
Yeah,
that changes everything. Your heart starts beating. You start
definitely.
you start thinking and doing everything from an emotional standpoint, which trading shouldn't be. You should be really focused on like what trading is for itself, not just the money. So the next question I wanted to ask is, how much time have you dedicated to studying Forex and just overall trading?
Um, so in the first few months, it was a daily thing, few hours a day. I would have like a Zoom meeting with my mentor about once, twice a week. Um, he would try to teach me what he could. I would go and back test during the day. And then at first I wasn't really awake. For since we're in California, London to New York is from midnight to about 8 a.m. over here, you know, so that's pretty tough time to, I guess, be committed to something if you're from the West Coast. Um, so at first I did put in a lot of hours, kind of a daily thing, but then I realized that or now I recently realized that it's better to look at the charts only before, you know, your session times and whatnot. But I still, even when it's not like during my London session, like maybe in a few hours later, I'll probably go back and back test, see what I did wrong or see what I did right. So plenty of hours, I would say, man. It is like I said, I've only been doing this for about 6 months, so it's kind of been of a daily thing ever since then.
Well, that's what we need, because in trading, if you're not putting in the work, most
Oh
likely
yeah, dude.
you're definitely not going to make it. Just, I mean, you might catch a streak of some lucky trades, but at the end of the day, when those losses start hitting, you might start revenge trading. So it's
Ooh,
it's
yeah.
best for all of us, if we really understand what we're doing in trading and what our goals are. You can't set a goal like, oh, I'm gonna make 1,000 into 1,000,000. That's not very realistic.
Yeah.
It is possible, but not for the common
Even
Joe. So we have to work hard to achieve our goals in trading. And so, do you find yourself sitting more in front of the charts, or are you like setting alerts, waking up at night and then placing trades?
so yeah, now I just set alerts. So I trade London to New York, like I said. So around 11 p.m. California time, I'll start looking at my charts and then see where Asian session pretty much took us, which is from, you know, before London session, if people don't know that. But yeah, I think it's better now to just wait into your time zone, man, because when I first started, I was kind of always looking at it, and then I was like, oh wow, this is a setup, or this is a setup. This looks good, this looks good. And then you end up breaking rules, and that's how you end up blowing accounts, you know. So even now, I think my main like pet peeve I still have is a little bit of the revenge trading you mentioned.
Yeah,
It's
for
kind of
sure.
that's kind of what that especially this week, man. This week has been a little tough, but all I trade is gold, so gold has been crazy for us.
Yeah, so do you trade now the New York session? Because that 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., that
It's
gold is
gold, yeah.
moving different.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So from midnight to about 8 a.m. is pretty much my trading time. So if I'm pretty much awake, and then if something doesn't happen by like you said by 7 8 a.m., then I'm asleep.
Yeah, because I do the same thing where I used to almost stay up all night and it was just so hard. Like I stay up, I'm trading GBP odd, all these other currencies in the night, and then as soon as it comes time to trade, gold or whatever in the morning, like I'm already too tired to do anything. So have you ever traded like 5 a.m. maybe till like 10 or 11 a.m.? Because like
Uh,
that time zone, I feel like for us West Coasterners, it's better if you trade gold, especially. Like I love trading gold. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that until that late, no, I have not tried. I guess I should try that a little bit more from the 5 to 11 range, but I find it easier for myself personally just to stay awake. Um, and then I kind of have gotten used to trading the like first few hours of London. So if it doesn't happen between like 11 p.m. to about 1:30 a.m. over here, then I won't enter my move. So I have like certain time frames in each session, about 3 hours in each session, in the beginning of each session that I like to look for my setups. And if I trade outside of those, then I'm risking, breaking my own rules.
yeah, yeah, I feel that. So do you have any special favorite pairs maybe you like to trade besides gold, that is?
Yeah. Just gold, um, mainly gold, man. If I do trade any forex pairs, they're GJ, GU, or EU. That's
Yeah,
pretty
I
much
mean,
about it. But
my favorite pair is GBP Australian. I don't know why it moves
yeah,
so smoothly. Like the time zone you mentioned, the 11 p.m. whatever. Like it just starts moving. All those Brits over there are
yeah,
moving the
yeah.
market. So gold and that for sure is a great pair to trade. But what is a hard lesson do you think that trading has taught you?
Few. Um, Patience, definitely patience is one of the main things I guess trading would teach you, humbling you down. Um, Learning how to take profits when profit is something I'm still learning. Um, and learning to wait for your setups. I think that's the most important part. If you are kind of rushing into things and how do I say revenge trading or do anything of that sort of it, especially with gold, man, it'll rip you a new one for sure in a
Yeah,
matter
so
of 5 minutes.
yeah, 5 minutes, you're down 10%, and you
Yeah,
didn't even move a muscle. So
right.
it's
You can
very
literally blow a
important.
count in a few minutes
Yeah, if
with
you
gold.
add another extra zero on the lot size on accident, your
Yeah, you're
account
done.
your account is gone. So I definitely feel you on that one. It's super
Right.
important to be patient and just if you have a trading plan and different confluences that you wait for, you have three or four and you're like, okay, I'm gonna enter now. And then when the trade actually hits, you're already negative so much. And when the confluences actually occur, you could have had such a better position had you just been a little bit more patient. So,
Yeah.
and when you take a few losses, what helps you come back from that?
Mhm. So on the second part of the challenge that I took, I was down about a few thousand on the second part, and I ended up coming back from it with one play. I waited about like a week in between losses, came back and passed it in one play. So I think it was going over what I did wrong, right? Because I'm still, like I said, I've only been doing it for 6 months, so I'm still realizing what I'm doing wrong and what I'm doing right and what works for me. And that's really the big issue right there. And learning when to say, okay, this is enough. That's the main one right there, because you start thinking like, it barely hit my stop loss. I'm gonna re-enter.
Yeah,
And then again, barely hit my stop loss. Like, dang. So uh, that's probably one of the biggest things right there for me.
yeah. And another thing, learning when to stop when you're up, you make a certain
Uh,
percentage and you're like, okay, I'm
that's
up. That means I can enter more trades. And the greed
right.
always hits us all in different ways. Like if you're up a certain percent, your goal, 2% per day or per week even, you're up for the week on the first day. and then during the week you're like, okay,
Right.
I'm already up, let me just trade more, and then you end up going down. Like
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what we traders need to learn. Like, why can't we get it the first time? Seriously.
Yeah. I always tell myself that after. There's been a few times where during the live trading that I was up, over $1,000, and I'm over here thinking, oh wow, gold's about to give me, $4,000 or $5,000. Ends up retracing and hitting my stop loss and profit, and I get like 100, $200 out of it. End
Yeah,
up throwing my phone across the
there's
room.
nothing worse than that when you are up
Yeah,
so
man.
much and then the market just takes it all back. Never give
Yeah.
anything back to the market, man. The
Right.
market gives, and it gives very rarely. So
Cooking. Yeah.
it's very important to just take those profits and run for the hills.
Yeah. So I'm
So
still learning that, man. Because there's also times there's for that I'm gonna mix like relationship with trading because for the phase one and phase two, there was about 2, 3 times that I hit like 1K plays, and then I end up closing and it ends up going 500 pips more, towards the beginning of March, it was moving, so there was a few times where I'm like, oh, like I should have just held.
yeah, for
But then
sure.
but then when you don't, or when you do hold, it just yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
there's
it's most
it
important to learn how to, like manage your greed. There's always a chance it can go higher, and you don't
right.
necessarily have to close every single position. If you have a large position and it's up a good portion for you, and then you just close, like if you have a one lot, you close a point 0.9 or a 0.95. You leave like a small runner. Then if it does go 500 more pips, then there you go. You just banked a few more dollars for your funded challenge,
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah.
I
And would
actually
you
just learned how to do that recently, really. I did not
yeah,
know that we can take partial profits.
yeah,
I really did not know that. And so recently, so that that's a new thing.
yeah. So taking partials, that's like it's almost like a secret, it's hard to even know it's there, but it's a very good trick to know and to use in your own trading. And
Yeah.
so would you consider yourself a swing trader, intraday, or like more of a scalper?
Uh, I would say intraday. I don't really like to hold too long for the same reason I just told you. Unless it's like a really good setup that I find on the higher time frames, like daily time framing up. On those, I wouldn't mind holding for like a day or two, or more than that if I needed to. But for most of the time, it's intraday, just because of how much gold moves. You can't really. Yeah, you'll be up a couple hundred pips, and it'll come right back to your entry. So
Yeah, but what
you don't
if
want that.
you get an entry that goes like hundreds of pips further,
Oh
like
yeah,
has
I'm
that ever
holding. Yeah.
happened to you, or like where you're swinging already for like 3, 4, 5 days a week? Have you ever held a trade like that?
Uh, yeah, I have on actually on GJ. I've held a trade before like that. Uh, I caught something like right at the beginning, but like I said, when I find it on the higher time frames, those tend to work out for me a little longer. But yeah, I definitely will. If I see something, smashing through TP1 on my take profits, then I'll put my stop loss 50, 60% in profits and just let it run.
Yeah. So do you use more fundamentals, or are you focused on technical analysis? Like with gold, I know it moves a certain way and it has certain patterns and things. So
Right, right. I would say I just go based off price action. As far as like fundamentals, like news and stuff like that, I really don't pay attention to. For some reason, man, it's my buddy who trades options likes to watch the news or say watch out for this. But coincidentally, in my opinion, a move or a big move will happen, and then coincidentally, some news came out 20 minutes before it. So
yeah,
I'm starting to find that like everything that's happening in the charts is happening for a reason.
yeah,
It's not by some sort
exactly.
of coincidental. There's banks that are definitely manipulating it on a daily basis, and there's not if or what it's they're doing it, and it's for sure there.
Yeah. And what would you say is like the biggest pip jump you've ever seen, like on a candle? Like the FOMC
On one
news, or
candle.
like
Oh,
a
dude,
few, or just in a few minutes. Like, what's the most pips you think you've seen?
I've seen in 1 minute on gold multiple times. last night, for example, uh, last night I was 65 pips in profit. I had 100 pip TP, 65 pips in profit. So I went from the 10 pip S. I had my stop loss at break even, moved it 10 pips up lower, and once I seen it go past 50 pips, I moved it a little bit more, a little bit lower, just to secure a little bit more. Literally a minute later, it came up, wicked me out in profit, and dropped down and hit my TP right after that.
Yeah,
It's crazy. So, but that wasn't like 50, 60 pips. But this
yeah,
thing,
but
the
there's
most I've
like,
seen gold moves, literally like 100 pips to 200 pips
yeah, because
within the 5-10 minute range. So
because I think the last or a few of the months ago there was an FOMC candle on gold. It was like literally a few minutes and it was like 80 dollars, which is I think like 800 pips. So
oh my
those types
God.
of moves, like imagine you get in and you're sailing that all the way to the heavens. So
Yeah,
but who knows, like anytime I trade to trade news, it always goes the other way. Like no matter
that's
what
for
I'm
all of
doing, like
us.
I don't know how they know. They just know. As soon as I get a nice position, they're like, "Oh,
Speedy
psych!
dudes, speedy dudes.
Oh, psych! Let me just take your
Yeah.
wick." Whoop! That happened
And then
to
I,
me just today, literally on GU. I'm in a nice trade, wick, oh, and then it melts straight down. So would you like to maybe give us a quick insight into your strategy? If you want to like share your screen,
uh,
we can
yeah,
take
give
a
me a
look
sec. Let
at.
me open up my trading view.
Sure, sure.
Okay, so this is a setup that I was looking at gold on yesterday. Have the replay button on. Um, so the day before yesterday was pretty crazy. As you can see, all this price action, 100 pips up, 200 down, back and forth. So I was kind of hesitant on whether we were going to be bullish or not. But after I seen this heavy rejection here on this candle, which is this gap, for people who don't know, is considered an imbalance in price action, or an IPA, or depending on how people want to call it. Most of the time, those tend to get filled out if people don't understand what that is. So here I have X swipe. So that, to me, it's considered a liquidity swipe. And soon as it tapped into that 100%, it came and broke these last lows, came all the way back down to an area of interest I had right here. So seeing that, I knew that supply was still in control, that it was still a bearish move. So I was kind of waiting for continuation on that. And I'm gonna drop it down to the 15-minute time frame. So you can see these dots I have here. So these I have here are my structure points. I usually mark out my previous daily low or New York low session. Those are nice targets that I like to aim for. And here, I don't believe I had it written down, but this was an Asian low. So I could write that down. Here we had an Asian low. Just bring that out. People can see it. And then I had up here, I believe it was here. This was one of these two candles were an Asian high. Let's just say this. So it's like a day or two ago. So before London session happens, I like to look at this. I like to set these things up, see where it's at, and whichever one and gets tapped first after I've confirmed the higher time frame by like direction that it's going, which for this specific play was bearish. And as you can see on the smaller time frames, we have bearish order flow. Take this out. So we have a high, we have a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. For most traders, they would think maybe a lower low is about to happen, something of mitigation off of this. But I knew that this Asian high had to get wiped before coming down to make a lower low, or just catching somewhere around here, right? So I waited for that to happen. And as you can see here, I have buy side liquidity wiped. once that was tapped into, the next thing that I like to wait for is my sell side liquidity to be wiped. And I can go candle by candle. So first we had this wipe, and then we had our high. So it does that. I wait, and most of the time, well, at least before, because just this past 2 weeks, I would enter off of this candle here, which I would have gotten stopped out on.
No, for sure.
For sure, right? So let's say, even smart money concepts are starting to become traps, in my opinion, right? So let's say you did something like that, and you would have entered at the 50 or something like that, short. So you would have entered on the 50 or something like that. Let's say you would have had your stops right above, something around like here, to be realistic, 20 pips. You would have hit that and been like, oh, like, Jesus Christ, what's going on? I'm wrong.
Yeah,
And then
let me enter again, maybe.
yeah, let me enter again, or let me wait for a pullback because it just broke this, and then enter it for a buy. But like I said, I knew my higher time frame bias was bearish, right? So after I had that liquidity swipe on both sides, I like to break it down to the smaller time frames and wait for a break of structure below this liquidity swipe. So let's break it down. I think I found it on the 3-minute yesterday. So yeah, that's why I have that little orange box here. So this is my imbalance. So it created the imbalance that I was looking for. Now I just needed it to break below this liquidity swipe, which once it got to there, it was underneath the swipe, right? And you could enter pretty much off of that. So what I did is enter off of that. I had my stops right above that previous candle, and I was aiming for this liquidity right here that I can see that's pretty juicy there. So I was aiming for that. It ended up going lower than that. Also, another thing too that I was aiming for was here. There's an imbalance. Same thing that I mentioned here.
Right.
This is an imbalance that we could aim for from here to here. All right, so yeah, so that's I think where I had my TP at 1920. Yeah. Yeah, I was aiming for this. Right, so you wait for that to happen, and then you kind of just let it play out after that.
And
So
there
TP
you
hit.
go. So what kind of risk to reward do you mainly focus on?
I like to do minimum of like 1 to 4. Minimum 1 to 4. I usually prefer the better probabilities, like 1 to 8, 1 to 6. If I can find something like that, I like to do it a lot better. On this, once I was in profit, I immediately brought it down to about 10 pips because I didn't want to lose any more than that.
Yeah.
And then once I was about here, right? This one candle, look at that. That was literally like a minute.
Yeah.
2 minutes or 3 minutes it happened, right? From there to there. So I was here. I ended up bringing my stop loss to literally to 1929, right? Once I was here, I was thinking like, oh, she's out of here, you know. But as you know, gold likes to do
Yeah.
crazy,
Nothing
crazy.
worse than that, man.
Yeah, dude. And I ended up getting worked out here. But if I would have left my stops at break even, that would have worked out just fine.
Yep.
I feel managing an active trade that you're in is one of the most important things that you need to do. Learning how to manage a trade. And then another thing too, that same setup that I just showed you guys, knowing that this was like a true area of like liquidity, it could have been either here, here, or you would have had your swipe. All right, so let's just call this a liquidity swipe. Where I had earlier. Once we see that same setup, let me see if I can get you guys to see what I'm seeing. So we're gonna come here. You guys see that there? It was after a liquidity swipe, which is this. You want to see a break to that side. And then once it comes back down to reach that, which it did here, you could have
Retest.
entered. Yeah.
Easy money entry. Let's go. I
Yeah.
like
See,
what you
so
see in.
that literally I just learned this week.
Wow. That's
2 days
amazing.
ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. I back tested yesterday and it worked out fine. It could have technically you can see this um multiple times happening. So here, after it wiped out that buy side liquidity, I guarantee you it's going to be there again. And it is. So 1, 2, or 3 minute time frame is what I like to look for on this one. I think on this one it might. Let's see. Yeah, the 1 minute for sure. Or there too. Here we have a little small imbalance after the break. Could insert there. If you're super scalper and trust yourself, maybe the 1 minute could be even better. As long as it's above this, you see the break. So here we have the break, and then this candle, look at that. Yeah, it happened again. So you see a break, and then from here, we have our imbalance. And look how it taps into that and doesn't give you another entry. She's out of there. So technically, this would have been it. This is how yesterday should have went.
Exactly. And
So you have
what does a strategy like this have in terms of win rate, you think?
so during the challenges, I believe I had like a 60 to 70% win rate. Like I said, this is a fairly new concept. So this past week, I've kind of been trying it out. And as you can see, I kind of have somewhat small stop losses, 10 to 15 pips. It's usually what I have. So it's pretty tight. On go, that's pretty small. So even if you do miss like 6, 7 in a row, all you really need is one
Yeah,
to make up that. Because look at
exactly.
this.
So
This
that
was
that
two
risk to
200
reward.
and yeah, this was 240 pips just here. From liquidity to liquidity is what I truly would have aimed for. But once I seen it like around here, I probably would have just put my stops somewhere around this area and then just take whatever it gives me after that. I think
Yeah.
so 100 pips there, 150. Yeah, I think at 100 pips, I would have been like, all right, this is solid. Then wait again, because here, like I said, you would have gotten stopped out, but you want to wait for price action to tell you to enter the play again, and then it does. There, boom, you have your swipe. Oh, also here we have a little break of structure, and then notice how it comes right back to that candle that made it happen, and that's where I told you I answered. And then again here after another liquidity swipe. So I guess the win rate could, I wouldn't know what to call it, man. I would say 60 to 70% of the time it wins. But you can take a few losses in a row and still be profitable. As long as you have tight stop losses.
And so for my last question, I wanted to ask you what you believe the funded trader will do long term for this industry and beyond.
So long term, I'm hoping that they compete with FTMO, if not take out FTMO, as far as number one prop firm. In my opinion, you guys are amazing. You guys' response team is pretty lightning fast. Usually you guys respond within the hour, which I really liked. Because when I was first going over prop firms, trying to figure out who I wanted to, risk my money with, that was the main thing. I wanted it to feel real. I wanted it to feel like, I wasn't talking to people across the world who weren't going to pay attention to me. You guys have the highest account, I would say. So for those who do reach that highest level, changing people's lives.
Of course, 600,000, I mean.
Yeah, 600,000, 5-10% a month, you're up 60 racks.
Yep.
Yeah, easy. So, and then after the 3 months, you guys do the 90% payout, which is really good. At that point, you don't need, in my opinion, I don't think you really need a live account. There's no point of losing your own money when as long as you stay within the parameters of the funded trader, you can, go based off of that. And it's risk free, apparently from the consumer portion of it.
Yeah.
If you guys have more than a 5% drawdown, then that's on you guys. But funded trader, man, I see you guys doing pretty good things, and I like the Discord you guys have. You guys are super active on it, very transparent. You guys show the payouts, which has been very, 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 very motivating when I see
Yeah.
all the rest of the guys on there, dude.
Amazing. Guys and
Yeah,
girls. Don't forget the
guys
ladies.
and
You
girls,
know,
yeah,
they're
yeah, the ladies on there too, yeah, definitely. Well, pretty much anyone that's on there, anyone
yeah,
that's on there
of
is doing
course.
pretty well.
Of
Yeah,
course. So we have a great community, and I just wanted to thank you all for watching, and make sure you tune into the other different videos that are upcoming. And I just wanted to say thanks for this interview. It was a pleasure getting to meet you and taking a look into your strategy. I hope you scale up that 50K, maybe get a
yeah,
200, 300, 600K account in the future. So
yeah,
whenever
definitely.
you hit that big payout, I'll make sure to get another interview with you. We'll talk
Yeah.
about the trades that made it happen, and we'll see you from there. So thank you all for watching.
Cool.
Have a great day.